Okay, so in this lesson we are going to be talking about squares and rectangles. A rectangle, like you learned in the worked example, is a four-sided figure with four 90-degree angles with opposite sides parallel and opposite sides equal. So what I just explained was this checklist here. Those three things define a rectangle. So we are going to use this checklist to check if this first figure is indeed a rectangle. So first I want you to know that in geometry we use symbols to kind of define things. So this little square in the corner, it's really just drawn as a 90-degree angle, where you go over and down. And that shows that that angle is a 90-degree angle. In geometry, we also show the length of a side by using tick marks. So, like on these, there's one tick mark, and these have two tick marks. And we'll explain that as we go through the checklist. But just so you know what those mean. So let's check first. Number one, for right 90-degree angles. Do we have that in all four corners? Yes. So that's checked off. Number two, opposite sides parallel. Now in this one, it's really easy just to see that the opposite sides are parallel and they will never intersect. We'll use this a little more later in the module with different quadrilaterals. So in this one, we know that opposite sides are indeed parallel. Number three, opposite sides equal. So like I said earlier with the tick marks, that's how you, that's what you show, like measurement of a side. So these two have one tick mark, that means that those are the same length. Whereas these two sides have two tick marks, which means those are the same length, but they are different from these two. So that means that the opposite sides are equal, which means that this first figure is a rectangle. So now we're going to look at figure 2, and we're going to see if this figure is a square. So a square is another four-sided figure that has four 90-degree angles, and all sides are equal. Okay, so again, number one, four right 90-degree angles. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. That checks off. Opposite sides are parallel. Again, you can just see that these won't intersect, so those are parallel. Number three, opposite, or in our case, all sides are equal. All sides have two tick marks, right? Which means that those are all the same. So that checks off. And this means that this figure is a square. Now a square is a special case of a rectangle, meaning that all sides are equal. A square is still a rectangle because technically the opposite sides are equal. These two sides are equal, and these two sides are equal. They might all be the same, but in this case, a square can be a rectangle.